People can say hi to our distance learners. Say hi to your classmates.
What do we have? Hi. What?
Wait, so who?
Yeah, we have a president's test today.
Do we do?
No,
Yes.
it's next Tuesday.
Can I get it any?
No, Gianna. Yeah, Keenan.
We understand the explanation. We already knew
Yeah,
the
you're
first
supposed to have it written in your planner, right? Tuesday?
Yeah. Yes.
So you should have it written.
Wait, so
So
when?
write it down now if you
Today's
haven't.
Wednesday.
What'd be a good day to write it on? On Monday's assignments to study for the president's quiz, if you don't already have it memorized. George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, Martin Van Buren, William Henry Harrison, and John Tyler. Really, you only have to say William Harrison. The only time you have to have a middle name, and really all you need is a middle initial. So you could just say John Q. Adams. Okay? If you haven't noticed, I did leave a couple president games in your classroom. A book and some pictures. So those that are visual learners, that you can learn them easier by seeing their face. There also is a book back here that some people remember stuff by telling a silly story. So there's a book back here that does that. You can learn the presidents in 20 minutes by just learning this story. So if you want to check, I'll try to find that book and put it in your classroom too, to help you learn those presidents. Because by the end of the year, we want to know all what? 46 of them.
Does that include Joe Biden?
Well, if he's officially elected in January, it will include Joe Biden, yes.
Okay.
He's the oldest president ever elected.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. How old is he? 70.
70.
77.
Joe Biden. 71. And I don't know his name.
Now, I wanted to go over, first of all, we don't have a flip grid video for social studies, and I want us to have one. In case we do some things and we have to go to distance learning, I want you to have it. So, I'm going to talk about a couple of things where people might be having problems getting on Flipgrid. Okay? And then, that's why I was going to just have you join Flipgrid right now with Chrome, but just write this in your planner. You can write the code down. Okay? And I'll try to put the code on Google Classroom too. But you'll have it here. So one of your assignments is to join Flipgrid in social studies. Right now we've only joined Flipgrid in religion. Okay? So the code, and this is probably why, Lewis, you're not entering, because you never joined in the first place and you're just going to the topic code. If you go to the topic code and you haven't joined the class code yet, what? It doesn't work. Anybody have problems making it work? If you had problems making it work, that's probably why. Okay, so for the religion code, so if you had problems doing the religion miracle, anybody, Lewis, did anybody else have problems doing that? Who hasn't given me that yet? See if I recorded those yet. Yeah, I have. So it's, well, Ryder is one, Lily, and Lewis. Were you able to do the other Flipgrid, Lily?
Yeah.
Okay, but if you're having problems, chances are you don't have the code. So for the religion, it's Hale 15. No, it's Hale 1729. lowercase. And I'll try to put that on the religion Google Classroom page too. So this is for religion, and then, so most of you have already joined this. So if you join this, it's not a problem. If you haven't, then you need to join this class, okay? So the social studies one, nobody's joined because I just made it today. So go to Flipgrid and enter this code, Hale 0172. So that way, if we have a topic, that might be, if we have to go to distance learning, that might be how we do our president's quizzes. So you have to do them orally. And close your eyes like this, so I know you're not cheating.
Oh, that's better than phone.
Unless you think you can write the answers on the piece on your hand and see them like this. I don't think you can.
No, I'd need to
The best answer would be just what? Don't cheat, okay? But that would eliminate the temptation if you eliminate the opportunity, right? If you don't have an opportunity, then there's no temptation. So if you have a temptation to have candy and you don't have any candy around, what? There's no temptation. And that's what we should be trying to do, eliminate temptation. Okay, questions about this? So we got that. So let's take out our reviews. If you're not done, go in the hallway.
What do you have, Allison? What you No snack? Oh, yeah, I forgot to grab my snack.
I just have goldfish, like colored goldfish. I'll bring some tomorrow.
Like entire boxes.
No, I'll bring good cheese.
Good cheese? I
And
can't do
crackers for you.
I can't do Let's do cheese because today, and then tomorrow we can get these.
Lucy, here's your retest. How come you didn't ask for it?
Oh, well, you told me to score, so.
I think I'm missing one of the, that's all right. Hopefully I can figure it out. Again, what do we want to do? If you don't have it right,
I'm writing the answer.
write in the answer. Okay. So number one is reconstruction. Number two is pardon. What else could you put with that? You probably should know. So pardon is for an individual. If it's a group, what's it called?
Wait, what was number one again?
Reconstruction. So pardon is for an individual. If it's a group, it's called this. So you should know both.
Oh, amendment?
Amnesty is for a group. So really, Lincoln was wanted to grant what? Amnesty, because the group was who? The Confederates, okay? Number 3 is the 13th Amendment. Number 4 is black codes. Number 5 is impeach. Number 6 is a scalawag. Number 7 is the 14th Amendment. Number 8 is the radical Republicans. What number we're on? Number 9 is segregation. Number 10 is the 15th Amendment. Number 11 is veto. Number 12 is a carpetbagger. Number 13 and 14, you could have any two of these. A poll tax, a literacy test, grandfather laws, or violence and intimidation. Number 15 is military. Number 16 is the Ku Klux Klan. If you put K, 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 it's not right. Why? What's Mr. Hales' rule? Didn't we learn this rule?
No.
What's Mr. Hales' rule? I have 2 rules when you answer things. We have no new students in the 7th grade. No, what? No abbreviations. KKK's a what? Abbreviation. What's the other rule? Has to do with names.
That's about right.
What's the rule about names?
Capitalize. You have to,
First and last names. Did that enlighten anybody, or this is like, oh, I had no clue about that, Mr. Hale? Raise your hand if you say, oh, I had no clue about that.
the first one.
So I won't count it wrong this time, but I know I've said it. From now on, it will be wrong. Number 17. This is what you need to have. You need to have that the House of Representatives votes to impeach by a majority vote. The trial is in the Senate, and it takes 2/3 of the people to remove the president. And an added plus is if you know who's the judge. Who's the judge?
The second. We had to choose something.
the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is the judge, okay? But you need to know House votes to impeach. Impeach means what? Accuse. So the House accuses him, and the Senate decides whether what? What the Senate decide?
If they are impeached by a 2/3 vote.
If they're guilty. You're accused. They're the jury. They're gonna decide whether he's guilty. But it takes 2/3 of them to do that. And we said Johnson is the closest president ever to, because he came within what? One vote. In fact, because who controlled the Senate? Republicans. So, and he was a what? Democrat. So he could have been, there were 2 Republicans that voted not to impeach him. Because they said he didn't commit crimes that were high enough. They realized that his biggest crime was what?
Not a crime.
We said, what's his biggest crime?
Breaking the law.
He was stubborn. Basically, he broke 2 of their laws that they kind of made up to set him up to break. What were the 2 laws? Did you get that?
Fire something.
So, the Command of the Military and the Tenure of Office Act. Congress passed 2 laws mainly to set the president up. Basically, who's supposed to be the highest in the military? President. He's Commander-in-Chief. But they passed the Command of the Military Act, which said before the president could make any decision on a high ranking, he had to first get the okay from who? The highest general. So basically, if he would have took that to court, that probably would have been declared what?
Illegal.
What's it called?
Unconstitutional.
Unconstitutional. The court would have said the Constitution doesn't give Congress the power to make that law. Because the president's supposed to be, the Constitution says the president is commander and chief. He has the highest. So he shouldn't have to check with somebody else to make a choice. But they passed a law saying he did. And so, and the other one is Tenure of Office Act is, that one probably, if he took it to court too, would have been declared unconstitutional. But he didn't take it to court, he just didn't follow it. Which basically said, if he gets rid of somebody, he has to what? So the Constitution says the president has the power to make appointments. And who has to approve his appointments?
Highest general.
The Senate does. But nowhere in the Constitution does it say he has to check with Senate if he removes somebody. It's only if he appoints somebody. So this law said what? If you get rid of somebody, you gotta check with us too. And he didn't do that. And that's why they brought this case before him. But if you're that Republican senator that voted for Johnson not to be impeached, what do you think happened to your career?
You got fired.
Because basically, if you don't have the backing of your party in an election, what happens?
You get beat up.
Like Kanye West, did he have any backing of any political party?
No.
How many votes did he get?
Like 1,000 something.
No.
Minnesota was the second largest state of vote getters for Kanye West.
Not like
He actually got 60,000 votes.
Really? That's a lot.
Oh,
But how
that's
many
a lot.
people voted?
40,000 dead people.
Over 150 million people voted. So 60,000 is what?
Nothing.
Like nothing, okay? Okay, flip side. Number 1, the African Americans were the largest group of Southern what voters? Republican voters. Because everybody else, if you were white, voted what? Democratic. There's a term given for that. When you vote like that in a big group, that became known as the Solid South. So if you see that term, that means the South always tend to vote as a block for which party? Democratic. Unless you were what?
Republican. Former slave.
Unless you were a former slave. Basically, unless you were black. Number 2, the son of a former slave who was the first African American to serve in the U.S. Senate. Joey.
Hiram Rebels.
Okay, Hiram Rebels. Number 3, as more blank took office, resistance to Reconstruction increased among the majority of white Southerners.
Democrats. No? Oh, I got it wrong.
White Southerners would have been for Democrats.
Wait, what? African American?
Okay, African Americans or blacks. As more African Americans or blacks took office, in this case, most of the slaves weren't African Americans. They were what? They were Americans. Because they were born where? In America. Because slavery had been outlawed in terms of coming into our country, like in 1808. Number 4. What was the group of white Southerners from Tennessee who opposed civil rights?
No, we're in the
Probably abbreviated this one again, huh?
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Yes. that is.
Does it pass for now too, right?
Right.
Oh, yay.
The Democrats who brought their party back to power in the South were called what? Grayson.
The Redeemers.
Redeemers. Blank is the forced separation of whites and African Americans. Retta. Segregation. Number 7. By the 1880s, laws that enforce segregation in southern states, what are those laws called?
The Jim Crow?
Jim Crow laws. Number 8, in an effort to deny the vote to African Americans, a blank was instituted requiring them to pay a tax. Emily? Poll tax. Number 9, landowners provided the land, tools, and supplies, while who provided the labor? Grayson.
Sharecroppers.
Sharecroppers. And number 10, what was passed in 1875 that guaranteed African Americans equal rights?
The Civil Rights Act.
Civil Rights Act.
Oh, that.
But again, we know that that was just a law. And laws are no good unless what? So this law guaranteed African Americans equal rights in public places such as theaters, but what? Did it happen?
Nope.
That didn't happen until the 1960s that it happened. So we got 10 on this page. How many we got on the other page?
10.
Like 19.
17.
There's more than 17 because number 17 is worth more than... 17 is worth 4 points because you have to say House of Representatives majority vote. You got to say Senate and 2/3 vote. Those are the 4 points for it. So you need House, majority vote, Senate, as a jury, 2/3 vote. You need to have all that. If you don't have that, okay, you lose points. So if you want to know how many points you lost on 17, let me know. So that means 17 is actually worth 4. That's 20 on that page. 30 points. 30 points. Lucy,
What was number 2?
on which side?
The second side.
Hiram Rebels.
How do you spell that?
HIRAMREVELS. VELS, is that what it is, people? Did you look,
Yeah.
people that got it? Lily,
What was number 16?
on which side? Well, there's only one side with 16. Ku Klux Klan. Or the one time I allow you to put KKK. Now, if you put KKK on the test, what will happen?
Then
You're gonna get it wrong. Other questions? Grayson,
I was gonna wonder how much I got off when I was 17.
bring it up here.
10, 14.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So we got 2, because you would say the House accuses
Oh.
by a majority vote. Bella,
How many was it out of?
30.
Okay, I need it. I have a question for.
So this would be 2 off of that one. You missed 2, 3, 4, 5. You missed out on the other page?
Just one.
6. So I got 24. Avery,
You did it with her. She didn't cheat. You're just mad that you got
Billy,
something wrong. 26 out of 30. I got one.
Allison,
I got 26 out of 30.
Lucy,
26 out of 30.
Grayson,
27 out of 30.
Ooh.
Gianna,
28 out of 30.
What
Andrew?
happened to your legs?
Use my Sharpie.
I missed 1 there.
Then why didn't you say that? 26. Never mind.
Mikey,
I got 6 out of 30.
2-6, is that what you said?
1-6. Right? Wrong?
Joey,
No, number 16.
Oh,
Clara?
I got
like,
16.
then how did you get
Right.
People, I can't hear people, please.
26.
Christian, Emily,
30. Or sorry, not 30. 26 out of 30.
what did you tell me, Christian? 30? Because you didn't have that 1. Or did you look that one up?
No, I looked that one up.
Greta,
Can you check number 17?
so you took 1 off because you need to say it takes a majority vote by the House.
Okay.
So what's the total there? Greta, what's your total then?
29 out of 30.
Okay, people have any questions? So you have all the answers on this? So let's have a sheet of scratch paper, because some of this will be quick as hand, some of it will be writing. I'll get them here in a minute.
Can you get me a piece of paper?
Raise your hand if you want to have an
Yes,
indicator.
please. Yes, yes, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we want to end. This person gets to pick the indicator. Mikey,
Dang it. Tell me to order justice.
No one does the orange justice anymore.
touching my head here. Okay, this is the indicator. Got to touch the head, right? I can't just put it on top. Touch. Got to touch.
generous.
Any part of the head, or does it gotta be the top? Mikey, any part or the top? Top.
Tastes terrible.
Lily, did you bring the weird grape thing, the purple grapes? You need to bring those
Exactly, please bring them.
tomorrow. I'll remind you. The weird purple grapes that's in your eye.
Ewan and Lewis, people forgot these rules for Mr. Hales, so you need to write them down. Everybody should write them down. When you do assignments or tests or worksheets or whatever, rule for social studies and religion. No abbreviations. So KKK should be written
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Perfect name.
Ku Klux, not Ku Klux. Ku. K-U. And all names should have a first name and a last name. Unless there is that one exception or so, or a person doesn't have a last name. So, and you just came in, our indicator is putting your hand on your head right here, okay? This is the indicator.
What's the indicator?
This right here. So what is this chapter about, this test? So at the top of the test, what's it called?
The reconstruction.
Joey? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was a question. Oh, I thought he was just. I didn't. I thought he was just saying.
Who was the president during most of Reconstruction? Giano?
Wait a minute, Johnson.
Yes.
Oh.
Wait, I need to write this
Oh,
down.
what is it, Andrew Johnson?
Reconstruct.
What one word would summarize Lincoln's plan of
Oh, I
Reconstruction?
have this.
Lenient.
Okay. And who had an opposite view?
Oh.
What the heck? Why are you so dramatic?
Joey? Yes.
Dang it, I wanted that. I accidentally
And
wrote
what
lion.
word would summarize their view?
For
I'll give you that.
Yes.
Okay.
If I came down to the south here from Minnesota, and I carried a little pole, but on the end of the pole, it had little carpet slices on it, carried all my belongings in it, and I carried it, what's it called?
Oh my
gosh.
I also raised my hand sign out.
Ooh, that's pretty close.
How do you?
It was Allison.
Put him down, we have to try it again.
Allison.
That was me.
Oh, that was you.
That wasn't me.
Carpet
That was
backwards.
me.
Yes. Now, if I was a southerner,
I know that.
and I supported that Republican Party, people that did that, if I was a southerner, I would call them these. What would it call them?
Am I out? I don't.
It's above your shoulder, you're out.
I didn't do anything yet, because I don't know the answer.
Oh, you guys are being very observant. Greta. What? Yes.
What was the question again? Southerner who? I always use from it. I have two.
This applied the Bill of Rights to the states.
What?
States,
I don't know this.
You did.
yes.
You did touch your head.
What do you have?
You did several
Four?
times.
No way.
I was going to say that, but never mind.
Wait, Mr. Hale?
Huh?
Mr. Hale? What was that question? You just said?
Applied the Bill of Rights to the states.
No way.
What
There's like
was set up to help former slaves and poor whites
black coats.
Yes.
What's 3 man's?
The Freedman's Bureau. The
Oh.
Freedman's Bureau.
Did we even learn about that?
What was the question?
What historic
Yeah.
court case said that schools, it's okay to have black schools and white schools?
Oh.
Greg Scott? Segregation?
Oh,
That's what it is, but what's the name of the court case?
Oh.
No.
Like they're just doodling like, I'm gonna act. Yeah, there you go, acting involved, like, gonna raise your hand.
Somebody else is gonna get this.
There you go.
First.
There you go. That's more convincing.
Ferguson.
What?
Oh, I got it now!
Not exaggerating.
Anybody can get closer, otherwise Joey's gonna get the
Wait,
point.
can I go again?
No, if you're out.
Aw.
Were you out?
Oh. Oh, my bad.
Anybody that's
You're
still
bad,
in,
Gianna.
have it closer?
My
there you're
bad.
out.
You're already out because you didn't answer before.
Can we go again then?
It's Plessy.
Yeah, Lily's gonna say
Plessy
that.
versus Ferguson.
You were gonna say that, right? Yeah.
What did that do? Plessy versus
Yeah,
Ferguson?
Lily. I was gonna say that. She told me.
That it says that it's alright to have black schools and white schools.
Which is called?
Segregation.
Oh.
This is a written one. We're 6 points. Name the 6 stages of prejudice.
Wait, what?
What'd you what?
Name the 6 stages of prejudice.
I don't know what it is.
Time. So you get a point for each stage you put down. So if you put believing, that's step 1. 2, talking. 3, avoiding.
Oh, what about
4, excluding. 5, assaulting. 6, killing.
I got 4.
Oh yeah, those things.
What?
Oh,
Everything.
my
What
God.
those things?
I got 4.
I suppose.
Huh?
Now I'm at 3 points.
The 5th?
Okay, let's do another written one.
5th is assaulting.
Since we're
No,
writing, another written one.
killing.
The 6th.
Oh.
Uh,
Oh.
what are the 5 problems they had to deal with in Reconstruction?
Is this a written one?
The written one. You got 30 seconds to write them. 5 problems they had to deal with in
I
Reconstruction.
don't know any.
Time. Problem number 1, what to do about the slaves. Problem number 2, what to do with the slaves after they're free, or race relations. Problem number 3, what to do with the Confederates. How are you gonna punish them? Problem number 4, how to get the Confederate States back into the Union. And number 5, how to rebuild the South economically.
I have 6 points.
Okay?
So what?
Mr. Hill.
Okay.
Do they have to be in
What?
order?
There's no order for it.
Okay.
No.
The president says this law is no good. Yes.
Oh, dang it.
If the president signs a bill,
You have to refer to.
the president signs the bill.
It makes the law legal.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were looking for a word.
Yeah, me too.
Say.
I need that.
this said that I could vote if my papa voted.
Grandfather law.
Yeah.
Dang, I knew that. You only have like 10. I have 5. I have
The
0.
ability to read and write.
Literacy.
Yes.
Whoa.
Whoa.
What? We're saying you're good, Lana. Good job.
Exactly.
Who finished Reconstruction?
Oh. Oh. Oh, I forgot.
Ulysses S. Grant. Oh.
Not looking for a specific person.
Oh, you are?
The president.
Anyone else?
Not looking for a story.
I know what it is.
Did you answer before?
No. Senate.
More specific?
Like the governor.
Radical Republicans is correct.
I was gonna say something like that.
And how did they do Reconstruction? Joey.
Martial law.
Okay, explain that.
They sent troops down and put in different states to oversee the reconstruction
The states were divided up into what?
districts.
What kind of districts?
First, 10:31.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We just did that after the meeting.
What's the question? Military district.
Military districts.
Oh, alright.
What continued to be the major cash crop of the South?
Tobacco. Oh, just cotton.
Cotton. What was the economic system set up in the South to help them rebuild their economy?
Sharing, cropping, sharing, share cropping.
Share cropping.
Oh.
Ashley?
What is the cause of prejudice?
Believing something that.
One word.
Oh. Hate, judge.
Belief.
What is the cause of prejudice? One word.
I mean, I'm thinking of the word, but it's not the word.
You're demonstrating the word right now. Yeah.
You're talking to me? Oh, sorry. Maybe next time.
I have 5 points.
Not true, because I don't even remember the last
Was
time you raised
the
your hand.
the leader of the Radical Republicans?
Jim Crow? That's not his name.
Hiram someone.
Oh, yeah.
You already raised your hand. Hiram Rebel?
No.
I'll see.
Never mind. You're the one who
He was.
thought it was.
He was the first African to serve in the Senate.
Oh. He was the first.
You can imagine how amazing
I
that
don't
was.
know the question.
Okay. It's like amazing, like when President Obama was elected president. Okay. Now you might not agree with the policies because of your philosophy, but what made that so historic? This is a discussion question.
Oh, it's the first African.
Okay, the first black to be elected president. So we went from the period of Reconstruction where blacks were considered what?
Slaves.
Low.
Low.
Okay, lowest of low to the highest position in our country.
A president.
That's why many people, even though they might have disagreed with President Obama's philosophies, they still voted for him because he was what? Because they were African American and he was. And that's the first time they felt they had any say. Okay, did we have a question out there? Or do we have an answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
who was the leader of the radical?
Okay, yeah. You know?
Who did that?
No, we didn't. We didn't answer.
didn't do it.
I was about to.
Thaddeus Stevens
Is it
or
on the test?
Charles Sumner.
Oh yeah.
Two of them.
Remember that.
Thaddeus Stevens he had a black mistress.
Who did I raise that?
You know what a mistress is?
Nope.
Me.
No?
John, what was the question?
A mistress is somebody you're not married to, but you have a committed relationship with.
So, instead of
So, next question. What does impeach mean?
Accused.
Yes. And who does it?
Leader of it. Oh, no.
Oh,
Ready?
nope.
Oh, what?
the House of Representatives.
Did you raise your hand before?
Y'all usually.
Did you raise your hand before? Gary?
Right?
House
You
of
don't-
Representatives.
House of Representatives votes to accuse
I
you.
know.
This is my blood.
Where's the trial?
Notes I had yesterday.
Where's the
It's
trial?
stick it in your arm.
Oh, you didn't.
Look at these out, they're so itchy.
Supreme Court.
Oh, is that it?
Was your hand up before?
No.
The Senate. The trial's in the Senate.
No.
We just went over that.
That's how you said where.
How many votes does it take?
Guys!
You're the one that brought up the face.
It took less votes in because there were less senators. Okay?
No, your answer died.
Before we do that, how many votes does it take? How many senators are there today?
No, how many senators?
How many senators are there today? So if he was impeached today, how many votes would it take? Close. That's how many votes it would take. That's not how many senators are.
Oh,
65.
oh, what? It's math.
85?
150.
Which answer are you giving me?
What?
Which answer are you giving me?
Which question? Wait,
Yeah.
so-
Which question are you answering with that number?
With 100. The senators or how many votes?
How many senators are? That's correct. You get a point.
Okay, 2/3 for someone to get impeached.
Wait,
you raised your hand, though.
60 was.
You said it was close.
Oh, I was
It's not right. Somebody else was closer, but nobody's given me the right answer yet.
Can I tell you?
If it was today, if he was impeached today. So President Trump, if he was impeached, they required this many votes. And they couldn't get that many votes because the Senate was controlled by the Republican Party. Okay? So they didn't even get half.
Can someone get impeached more than 2 times? I mean, more than 1 time?
Can what?
Someone get impeached more than 1 time?
No.
Well, you could get impeached. Or you mean you could be accused? Yeah, you could be accused lots of times, but only 3 presidents have been accused, and they've only been accused once. Okay?
Can I answer?
Is it 66?
Yes.
Ewan.
That's close.
Stop doing that.
Yeah, because
They play the bongos now?
66.6.
Let's-
And you can't have under 2/3. So 66 is under 2/3. So that means you have to have what?
You cut the person.
That means you have to have 67. Okay? Means you have to have 67. Okay. This. Let's have a written one so you can everybody can score here.
Yay!
Freed the slaves. Which amendment? Freed the slaves. Write it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You wrote 13th. Give yourself a point.
Yes, I wrote that. Oh
I
my
gave
gosh,
them
yes.
the right to vote. Gave them the right to vote. What amendment did that?
Oh,
Write it
I know
down.
that one.
What amendment gave them the right to vote? Write it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you wrote 15,
I wrote that also. Oh my gosh. Bella thinks she's super smart.
Okay.
I am. I educate myself.
What group tried to prevent them from voting?
Oh, I know
Write
this
that
one.
down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you wrote Ku Klux Klan, give yourself a point. Not if you wrote KKK, you don't get a point for that.
Yeah, that's what I wrote right there.
Which way is spelled
Next time.
I have 7.
Where,
have 9.
where was
Yeah, I have 9.
President
Yes,
Johnson
because this is
from?
for kids. President Johnson.
He's from Tennessee. Southern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
how many
have
have, how many have 1 point? Count up your points. Count
I
them
have
up.
9.
How many have
I
5?
know I didn't win, so I got 7.
How many have 10? 11.
Lily? You're 11?
12.
I was like, I don't have any.
13. How many got? 13.
I would be.
17.
I've got a far.
Lewis Fan, you have more than 17, Lewis?
Oh, no, I have 15 too.
You have 17?
You have 17? You didn't get that many, did you?
Did I have that many written ones? Because I didn't hear you answer any of the vocal ones.
That's, yeah.
Where are the written ones
I
at?
shouldn't have a 7. I'm just kidding.
They were.
You got to write them and get the point.
I did. I just did it. I know, you should get a
No,
eat it.
you don't get any points for not writing them.
Sure.
So Jory's a winner. You have a choice of putting a bonus on the test or spinning the wheel. What do you want?
You have to spin, Joey, or else you're not cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Yay!
Spinning the wheel. So we'll have to do that tomorrow. Because it's bell ring, right?
Yeah.
We got a class coming in here.
Hello, people.
Hit stop, please. Somebody hit stop.